James Vincent McMorrow. You're in Toronto from Dublin?
Yes.
Originally?
Yeah.
You're here for Canadian Music Fest.
Yeah.
Now, I listened to your debut album early in the morning, and I was shocked afterwards to find out you haven't been making music your whole life. Is that right?
Well, yeah, this is my first record, so I've been sort of, not toying with it, but sort of testing the waters for a few years, but this is the first thing that I've ever properly made. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an incredible album, and I'm interested, how much did the environment affect the recording? Again, how isolated were you, actually?
Well, it's Ireland, so you're never that isolated because it's only a small country. But in relative terms, yeah, it was pretty. It was quiet, and people just kind of left me alone, which is what the goal was just to sort of be left alone to make something and see what you would make if you were left alone.
Did you have anything written before you secluded yourself?
I had some bits and pieces. It's like there was like maybe one or two songs that I had sort of finished going into it, but then they changed during the 6 months, and yeah, no, it was sort of seeds of ideas. But again, that was kind of the point, was to sort of not go in with any finished notions or ideas, just to sort of test it out as we went along and see what worked and what didn't. So yeah.
That's interesting because there are a lot of different kinds of songs on the album, but it seems to really work as a whole. Was that intentional, a requirement for you?
Yeah, I think that the records that I've always responded to and loved in my own life have been ones that have a lot of kind of light and shade on them. So like big moments, quiet moments. And I think that was, when I did sit down to think about making a record, I did know that I wanted those to try and capture something similar as well. So it was like, I knew how the record was going to start, I knew how it was going to finish, and I sort of, in between, it was all sort of up for grabs, I guess.
Interesting. Yeah, well, it turned out beautifully. Do you mind mentioning some inspirations, if you have any direct ones?
Yeah, I mean...
Musical or otherwise?
Oh, musical, it's a long list.
Or otherwise.
When I was making the record, I was listening to a lot of Andrew Bird, and I was listening, and The National have always been a band that I've sort of, I've come back to, and again, I listened to them a lot while I was making the record, just not for any sort of inspirational terms, just because they're just beautiful records, and when you're trying to make something, it's good to hear things that are, in your opinion, sort of the best. Yeah, like those records to me are sort of untouchable. It's like After the Gold Rush by Neil Young, it's sort of a record that I listen to pretty much every day, and it's just one of those things. It's sort of like an unattainable thing, but it's good to sort of, from a motivational standpoint, it's good to listen to them and see how what it sounds like when it's done perfectly.
Well, we're glad you're trying, and yeah, I think the record's incredible. The response has been pretty excellent so far, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it's so far so good. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks for coming in, and good luck with everything.
Thanks
Hope you come back to Toronto many times.
Yeah, wicked. Thank you very much.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.